Good morning, loves. So I wanted to talk to you guys about more about my show and what a pursuit to happiness is. So today's episode is about what is a pursuit to happiness. So for most people, when they think of happiness, they think of happiness as just an emotion, a state of mind. But happiness is actually a journey. And I had to learn that happiness was a journey on my journey to happiness. During some getting to know myself time and just during life and everything, for many, many years, I always associated happiness with things and conditions. So what I want to talk to you guys about is telling you how you can start the journey to happiness and what that journey consists of, and just understanding the difference of happiness. So in order to start your journey towards happiness, your happiness has to become unconditional. And what I mean by saying unconditional happiness, meaning you don't need a certain amount of wealth to be happy. You don't need a certain situation, a relationship to be happy. You don't need a beautiful home or a successful job to bring you happiness. Sometimes I hear people, well, when I get rich, I'll be happy. I know a lot of rich people that are very unhappy. And I myself used to think that certain things would make me happy. When I get skinnier, I'll be happy. When I have a place of my own, I'll be happy. But for many, many years growing up, I wasn't a happy child. I wasn't happy. I lived in a beautiful home. My mother and my father were there. My mother gave us everything materialistically. She didn't give us the emotional love and support that we needed. So certain situations and certain things, I don't know, some of you guys know my story, some don't. I dealt with physical and mental abuse as a child, and that was a struggle. So that's a part that I'll talk to you guys about, that self-healing journey of healing that inner child, because a lot of that brought my unhappiness. And that inner child part in our healing process as adults, a lot of us don't take time to tackle that. We don't even realize that we have inner child trauma, or the traumas that we experienced at 4 and 5 years old. It's really the reason why we're having so many issues now. And because of those traumas that started at such a young age, I developed mental illness where I was very unhappy, very depressed, suicidal, just a lot of darkness, not liking myself, just very unhappy. But I had to put on a smile and put on a happy face, because that's what people tell you. You're supposed to be happy. And so that's what you do, even though you don't even really know what true happiness is. So I'll get back to the whole, because I just had to do that process maybe a few months ago of that inner child healing. But I'll talk to you guys about that later. But just finding conditional happiness. A few years back, I started realizing that I've just been on autopilot, just walking through life, trying to survive and putting on that fake smile, dealing with depression, dealing with the anxiety, dealing with the mental health issues, and just putting a Band-Aid over it, whether it was drinking or self-sabotage, choices that I was doing to mask the unhappiness that I had going on inside. And then I found some people that I truly love, some teachers out there like Dr. Wayne Dyer and Esther and Jerry Hicks, Abraham Hicks, those teachers and spiritual healers and teachers that I started listening to and started reading their books and listening to their books. And it really helped me to put in perspective what happiness was. So I would hear them say, you have to choose happiness. Mainly Dr. Wayne Dyer, he would say, choose happiness. And I'm like, choose happiness? Like, how can I choose happiness when I'm dead broke? I have no job. I have no money coming in. Rent is due. I got eviction notices on the door. I'm in court. And, what is it to be happy about? I don't have nothing going on that's happy. And so I don't understand how I'm supposed to just choose to be happy within this situation. Like, there's all doors are slamming in my face. Everything is just, what can go wrong? When people joke and say, what else could go wrong? Yeah, that was my life at that time. It was like, what else could go wrong? And then all hell will break loose. And yeah, the universe will definitely show you what else can go wrong. So in those moments, sometimes when you get to that place where it's like your back is up against the wall and you can't figure out what the solution is, no one can help you in this situation. People have helped you over the years already, and you don't want to go to people for help. And your only hope is just surrendering to the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call that higher being that you pray to. When you have nothing else, that's when you just let go and surrender. And that's what I had to do. I had to just let go, surrender, and just be like, God, source, universe, whoever's listening, I give up. I cannot figure out how to fix this problem. I am at my wit's end of, trying to figure it out. I'm so unhappy. I just don't want to be here anymore. Like, what can I do? Like, just wanting to give up, just wanting to just either just walk out of this life and end it all, or something had to give. And at that time, so I just gave up, surrendered, cried that ugly, harsh cry that we cry when we just don't know what else to do. And I just surrendered. And I had started my meditation practice several years back. And at this time, maybe it might have been about four years ago, when I was having this breakdown, I had got back into my meditation. And so when I got back into my meditation, I just heard the words, relax and let go. And when I relaxed and let go, it's not easy. I couldn't just say, okay, relax and let go. No, it's a process to relax and let go. You get into whatever meditation state or prayer state or whatever. But I had to really relax and let go of trying to control things, of trying to create masses amount of money, trying to create jobs, trying to make clients happy. If some of you guys know, I'm a celebrity wardrobe stylist, and God knows those people are not happy. And they will suck the life out of you and not make you happy. And just, trying to create this thing with the wrong tools, this happiness with the wrong tools. So when I did relax and just surrender, and basically what Wayne Dyer was saying when he said, choose happiness, it was basically making an agreement with yourself and the universe that, okay, yes, right now, it seems like all hell has broken loose in my life. But at the end of the day, I need to look at what I do have and be grateful for that. Gratitude brings you all the things that we're looking for, all the things that we're searching for. Being grateful and having gratitude towards the little things will bring you all the big things. So I had to say, okay, I have breath. I can breathe. I can breathe on my own. I'm not connected to any type of machine that has to help me breathe. I can see. All my five senses are here. I can walk. I can talk. I can do so many things that so many people can't do. And for those things, you should be extremely happy. So why are you sad when you have these things going on, just these mobilities that you should be grateful for? One, I woke up this morning. The universe saw fit to keep me going, that my story wasn't over, that my journey wasn't done. That's something to be happy about. So I had to choose these things. So every morning I had to wake up and say, okay, I'm happy. I got a roof over my head for right now. I don't know how long I'm going to have this roof over my head, but I have it. I have food in my refrigerator. I can eat. I can make myself a meal. I have clothes. There was a time when I didn't have clothes. I had one outfit. And, the universe still got me through that. And then thinking about my darkest days, thinking about when I was living from couch to couch and floor to floor, and thinking about those times. And now that I do have actually someplace that, to call my own, to come into, close the door and call it my own, where I can make meals and things like that. So when I started finding happiness in those things that to us, because we're so blessed, that those things seem so little, but they're so huge because there's so many people who don't have it. And that's what I had to realize. What about the people that don't have just the smallest thing that you have? And even that's still conditional, but that's the way to get to really finding your happiness. And once you create that, once you choose that happiness, despite all the turmoil that's going on, and you say, I'm going to smile today. I'm going to be happy today. And that's what I would do. I would put on music. I would walk around my house happy as a millionaire. But although at that moment I had nothing, physically nothing, but I had so much that in that mindset at that time, you feel like you have nothing because it's not material. But we have so much in us. We have so much abundance, so much love, so much joy that the universe wants us to tap into. And that's the thing. Learning to tap into your inner powers, your inner self, because your inner self is very happy. And the only reason why we feel a discord and we feel unhappy is because it's not in agreement with the true core of who we are. So once I decided to choose happiness and not wallow in misery and just create little happy times around my house. I didn't have any money, so just creating happy times. But what was so funny about that whole situation, when I surrendered, when I started making the choices of being happy, within a couple of hours, I got a phone call from a friend that asked me, could I go work a job for her? And if I was available. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm available. Like, I didn't even know what the job was. I didn't know what it was paying. All I know, it was paying something and it was a job, and I didn't have one. And so that call came through within a couple of hours of just me releasing and saying, you know what, the universe giving me the message of I'm not going to sit here and focus on this anymore. There's nothing I can do. It's out of my control. Once I realized it's out of my physical control at this moment, and I let go, and the universe got a hold of it, the universe blessed me with that job. And that job led to me having a job for a few years after that. So, it changed my life. It put me in a different financial situation. And then once I started really getting a hold of the messages and choosing my happiness and all the situations that was going on, everything just started to line up. My finances changed. My mental health changed. I got back into my meditations on a daily basis. And that's another thing. To create your happiness, you got to have a routine. You got to have a routine of when you start your day mindfully. Start your day when that sun rise and you look and you see, even if the sun didn't rise, even if it's raining outside, you look up, I'm woke. That's something to be happy for. I'm so grateful. Thank you, universe, source, God, whoever you want to call it. Thank you. I'm woke. I'm here. Today is another day. This is the first page of this chapter for today, and I'm going to create a beautiful day. Get into a mindful place. Start a routine. My routine now is I light my candles. If I can, sometimes don't hold yourself hostage to the fact that you can't do certain things every day, but try to have a routine every day. That way it sets the tone for your day. I light my candles. I'll light them in my bedroom. I light them in my living room. I light them in my bathroom, just so when I'm walking around, I can see the beauty of the candles and I can smell the different scents of the candles. Sometimes it depends on how my energy is feeling that day. I might burn sage or some Palo Santo in my room just to create a nice, clean space to just relax. Sometimes I relax and then I'll go into my meditation, or I listen to, if I'm so clouded I can't get into a meditative state, I'll listen to like a podcast or a video, a motivational speaker video, but something positive, or maybe even read a book. I read a book called The Mindful Day. And so it's just creating that routine to jumpstart your happiness. And another thing that Dr. Wayne Dyer said that I love so much, when he said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change is so huge to me, because I was a person who, when any little thing, especially financial situations, popped up, it would drag me so far down into such a dark place. And I would cry and I would be so stressed and I would be so depressed. And it would be like a knot in my stomach of this horror of different thoughts that would plague my mind. And I would be everything was just worst case scenario. If my shoe broke while I'm walking down the street, oh my God, it's just like so drama. Like if I miss the bus, it ruins my whole day. If, like if I lose a job, if I'm booked for a job and then all of a sudden they just cancel me, I would start going down this playlist of, whoa, why did they cancel me? I must not be good enough. They must have found somebody better. Just self-sabotaging thoughts that I would create. Or if money situations popped up where there's a bill coming or rent is due and I don't have it, I will go so dark. But when you think about when Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, I'll put a different perspective on it. When I go out to and this just happened last week, I will run out and try to catch the bus. No, I had enough time to catch the bus. When I go out there to catch the bus, I miss it. So instead of going into this tailspin of, oh my God, I missed the bus and I need to go do this and I need to do that, I look at it like, okay, well then it wasn't meant for me to get on the bus at that moment. Maybe I didn't need to be on that bus. Maybe it's something else I need to do. And then as I'm changing the way I'm looking at it, then I remember, well, you didn't have this. Like, oh, you forgot this upstairs. You forgot that upstairs. You forgot this. Or, certain things that if you had got on that bus would have been detrimental to you being on that bus, and you would have to turn around and come back anyway. But the universe protected you in that situation. But even like, if you get turned down for a job, that wasn't for me. This is what we have to learn. Anything for you can't be taken away. Anything for you can't be given to someone else. Anything that someone else is getting wasn't yours anyway. So there's no missed opportunities. A job going, disappearing, a client canceling you, or you getting laid off. Even right now, and what we're going through right now, this has been a blessing. Yes, although it is very traumatic, a lot of people was lost. A lot of lives was lost. A lot of people were hurt. A lot of people are grieving right now. But even in this time, there's a different way to look at this whole situation. This pandemic happened for a lot of reasons. A lot of us needed to take time to self-heal. I know myself, the very beginning of this whole situation was a struggle for me. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, oh, yes, I was just in peace and I was in Zen. No, I was not. I was in hell. I was like, oh, my God, the world is coming to an end. All those anxiety thoughts came back. I was scared to death. I already was a germaphobe. So I'm really like, oh, my God, this is it. And then I had to get myself together. I was breaking down. I was melting down. And then I had to get back in touch with the universe and be like, okay. And thank God I had friends around me that was supportive of what I was going through. And, we can get on our spiritual journeys, but we all still have our issues. And nobody's perfect. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm perfect and I'm completely healed. No, life is a journey. Happiness is a journey. This is all the journey. So getting back to where I said we have to find the pluses in our current situation is, if I hadn't had the time to stay home, I wouldn't realize that I had some health issues that needed to be addressed, because we are all on autopilot. And being that we're on autopilot, we ignore things that we're actually dealing with. I was dealing with a health issue for the longest and didn't even realize that I was dealing with it until I had to sit at home for days on end, being by myself, and then realize, okay, wait a minute, this seems like it's an issue. So that being said, families needed to be with families. The earth needed to heal. The animals needed to come back. There's animals that people haven't seen in years that are resurfacing. We were killing our planet along with killing ourselves because we were working too hard. I know people that worked constantly, almost 7 days a week. They needed a break. We all needed a break. We needed a mental break. We needed a physical break. We needed a break. We needed some clarity about some things. We needed to be humane. Like, a lot of us, we haven't even been, decent human beings to each other. We haven't even appreciated the time that we spend and speak to our families. And a lot of us have gotten much closer, better relationships, a lot of relationships that fell apart. But that's even that, the universe is giving you clarity of who needs to be in your life. So with that, we have to take those pieces of change the perspective on how we look at things. Don't look at what we're going through right now as this is a disaster. This is the worst thing that ever happened in my life. Let's find the nuggets of positivity that we can find in this situation. So if Wayne Dyer was here right now, I'm sorry that he's passed, and I wish that I had got on to him earlier in his life. But if he was here right now, he would just tell us to look for the good in the situation and be happy that we're here. Take all the precautions, but enjoy these moments, enjoy this life. So in creating your happiness and on this journey of happiness is to be able to go through hard things and still choose to be happy, still choose to smile. It's definitely not easy, but happiness is definitely a choice. We can choose to be happy or we could choose to be sad. We can choose to be happy or we could choose to be angry. We could choose to be happy or we can choose to fight. Once I realized that happiness was the key to my financial issues, was the key to manifesting things in my life, was the key to health, better health issues, I was like, wow, I've been doing this wrong all along. I've been chasing the conditions to bring me the happiness when all along the happiness was going to bring me the conditions. And that's the journey that I want all of us to take together. Like, I'm still learning things, and I just want to share these things with you guys because I know that where a lot of people are suffering. And I see so many people that I look at them and I'm like, wow, if you could just choose to be happy. Some people are so miserable. Like, they complain about everything. And you're like, you have so much to be happy for. Okay, granted, you don't have $1 million in the bank. There's people with $1 million in the bank. How many, especially us in the entertainment industry, designers, photographers, whatever. How many designers, actors, singers have killed themselves? They have all the success that people think they should have, all the money that people think they should have, all the notoriety, but they don't have the happiness. Happy people don't kill themselves. So therefore, and these are celebrities, these are supposedly rich people, but what they weren't rich in was happiness. I traveled to Thailand for my 40th birthday last year, and what I loved and appreciated about my trip to Thailand, what I learned on my trip to Thailand was the Thai people are very happy people. Very sweet and peaceful people. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Thailand, but it's not the richest country. Most of the people don't have a lot of things. They don't have huge houses. Some of them don't even have floors. But these people were still happy and still nice and friendly. So what Thailand taught me was you don't need much to be happy. And despite everything else that's going on around you, this is this country, and I live in New York. I'm from New York, and most people here, we have so much stuff. We have multiple cars and houses and things and clothes, and we can go to the best restaurants anytime we please. We can go for breakfast, we can go for brunch, we can go for lunch, we can go for dinner, we can go do whatever we want to do and spend however we want to spend. And a lot of these people don't have those things, but we're so miserable. You walk down the street and people barely smile, people barely speak. Like, that's not happy. You walk down the streets of Thailand and you see people smiling, families together, just peaceful. I remember when I was in Bangkok during this trip, and I was on one of the temple tours. I went to go see the reclining Buddha and the big Buddha, and I met a couple that I was on a bus with, and I was talking to the husband, and he was looking out the window. He was just looking at the country, and he said to me, he said, ugh, this country is so poor, but they seem happy. And it's not like it disgusted him that they were happy. He just couldn't understand why they were happy. And he's looking at turning up his nose. I'm like, okay, sir, it's not that serious. And so when he said that, I said, well, that just shows you it doesn't take much to be happy. And I was like, and that's what I love about them. So he just shrugged it off. But it made me see, like, your perspective on that his perspective was in a negative, my perspective was in a positive, and it let me see. And even with this going on right now, that we've been trapped in our house, can't go nowhere, but we could still be happy. Like now, people have picnics and we go walking, and we in the beginning, before all the phases, we found the minimalist things to do, and it made us happy. We couldn't go buy clothes. We couldn't go grab up a bunch of nonsense that we didn't need, and we were happy. I know I was. If you wasn't, oh well, you missed the point. But however, that's what it is. That's what it's about. It's about just finding reasons to be happy, the perspective, changing your perspective on things. Change the way you look at things, because when the things you look at change, it is the truth. I stand behind that statement 100%, because just taking on that principle changed my life so much, because I was one of those people who had I still have anxiety, not as bad, but extreme anxiety when I would look at something, because my default was the negative. It was never the positive. So it was always the doomsday. That's how I looked at everything. But when I took on that principle of changing the way I looked at things, it really brought me peace, because I could say, okay, this didn't happen because of that, or this person is acting this way because of this, but it would be the positive spin on it. And with that, it gave me peace and it gave me clarity, and I could, just create another story, which usually changes the outcome, which definitely changes the outcome. When you change the way you look at something, it definitely changes the outcome. When you put your intentions out there for something positive to happen, the outcome is different. If we are projecting a negative outcome, the universe is going to give us what we're expecting, because most of us want to be right. We're like, I knew that was going to happen. And yeah, that's because you said it. You said that your roof was going to cave in next week because you saw something in your ceiling. So you said, it's going to fall. It's going to fall. It's going to fall. And the universe says, okay, you want it to fall. So it fell. But if you would have looked at that thing in your ceiling and said, okay, you know what, let me see what this is. And, all will be well. It'd have been fine. Maybe you would have found somebody who would have walked past your house and be like, okay, I see something on your roof. Would you like me to fix it? I'm doing demonstrations. Like, the universe works in so many strange ways. I've gotten so many things just by putting out a positive thought about it. And you never know. Just like those shows back in the day, Extreme Makeover, Home Edition. Someone could come along and be like, you know what, we're giving out new roofs. And that will be, as soon as you put that positive spin on, whatever you saw, the universe will send somebody to come give you a whole new roof, and your roof wouldn't have never had to fall in. But if you put in that negative narrative of this is what's going to happen, it's going to be doom filled, then that's what you're going to get. You create what goes on in your life. I know, looking back, I created a lot of crap in my life because I was so negative. I always thought the worst case scenario. I had conversations with the wrong type of people. And that's another thing in reference to your happiness journey. You got to clear off the people off your trail that are not happy. If you're around unhappy people, you will be unhappy. If you're having unhappy conversations and negative conversations with people, then that's what you're going to attract into your life. If you are letting negative people into your house, having negative conversations, they will leave their negative energy in your house. They will leave it around you, in your thoughts. Thoughts are real. Thoughts will stick around your house, stick around you. If you get into the car with someone and they're talking crazy, even if I get into a cab and the cab is talking crazy, I'm like, ooh, let me get out of here real quick, because I don't want his negative energy and his negative thoughts to creep into mine. People start planting seeds in your head and have you worried and stressed out about nothing. Or they'll tell you their story. Don't let people call your phone with their dramas, with their horror stories. Oh, my man left me. My kids are horrible. Don't come dumping all of that crap on me. That's too much. You can nicely say, okay, you know what? Try to guide them into a positive conversation. But if they're not wanting to go there with you, then you need to end that call. And they need to go to voicemail next time they call, because you cannot be on a happiness journey with a bunch of unhappy people around you. You cannot have unhappy conversations and live a happy life. You can't have you can't have conversations about lack and be abundant. You can't have conversations about lack of health and be well. So you have to be very conscious of your conversations that you have with yourself, with others, conversations that surround you, people that's in your house. What are you doing in your house? Are you worrying in your room all the time? Are you laying in your bed worrying about your finances or worrying about what your next step is? If that's what you're doing, get out of your bed, clear your space, light a candle, and try to get rid of those negative thoughts that you have, because you brought some energy into your house that you need to get out. Clean that out. Clean out that room, wherever you've been having the most stress at. I know I have to do this sometimes myself. Like, sometimes I'll lay in my bed and I'll worry about things and I'll stress over things. And then the next few days, I don't know why, when I'm in my room, I feel heavy. Like, what's going on in there? Then I think about it. You was in there worrying and stressing out about stuff. So let's open up these windows and clear that out. You have to become self-aware. Like, what am I doing? And that's another thing that I have that helps me stay on my happiness journey. And I feel like it will help other people, like just being accountable, checking yourself. What am I doing? What conversations am I having when I'm with myself? What am I watching? Oh my God, the TV is definitely, a dream killer. That will suck out your happiness. Watching the news constantly. Oh my God, that's the quickest way to get rid of your happiness. Because how many happy stories are on the news? I'll wait. You can count them. No happy stories. Maybe one, but I doubt it. So how can you find happiness if you're constantly programming yourself with unhappy things? If you're checking YouTube every 5 minutes for what disasters is going on, what riots are happening, who's fighting who's hating this person, who's like all of this stuff that we download into our minds steals our happiness. And no information is worth stealing your happiness. And I said to a friend of mine not too long ago, I'd rather be ignorant and bliss than informed and unhappy. While you're informed, you're scared and unhappy. I'm uninformed and I'm living my best life in my house, drinking my cocktail. So which one do you choose? Would you choose to be informed or will you choose to be happy? Because at the end of the day, only thing is going to bring you the results that you want and need for your personal life at this moment is happiness. Not knowing what's going on at that person's house, in this person's house, out there in this country, in that state, that's not going to help you right now. Right now, you can't help anyone until you're full. Until your cup runneth over, you cannot help anybody else. Until you're healed and whole, you cannot hand out a hand. If your arm is broken and a person is drowning, are you going to hand them that broke arm? How are you going to help them? You can't pull them out of the water with a broke arm. That's basically trying to help people and you haven't helped yourself. When you're on the plane and they said put your mask on first, you have to put your mask on first. You can't save the whole plane and you can't breathe. So that's basically that's your journey. Finding your happiness and finding your journey. Work on you first and then work on everyone else later. But you it's a self journey. It's a solo journey. Even if your children, your husband, you have to separate your time to be happy. So that way you can be full for them. so you can bring them some type of happiness. If you come in peaceful, then it'll change their energy. It'll shift their energy. So that's my thing. Like, I just want everybody to get on a beautiful journey towards their happiness. Do some mindful meditation. If you don't know how to meditate, and there's so many different types of meditation, because that definitely saved my life. You have guided meditation. Some people can do guided meditation. That works for some people. You can do silent meditation. Usually silent meditation worked for me I had to do guided meditation in the beginning, but then it didn't really work for me. So then I had to move to silent meditation. But it's like, once you get into, you have to find what meditation works for you. Breathworks meditation is another amazing meditation, and it works good for a lot of people. But if you have neurological problems or epilepsy or something, it's not suggested that you try it. So just do your research on certain meditations before you try it. Mindful meditation, if you're one of those people who can't, like I'm one of those people, it's hard for me to get my mind to relax and just be clear. Mindful meditation works for me. And so what mindful meditation is, well, for me, is sometimes I'll just sit and just focus on something, get present, get in the moment. I will just focus on looking at something, or just lay still and just look at the flicker of the candle, or relax with the candle, or just start doing something that's just like repetitive, just like, or reading, get into that mind state of reading, writing. Another thing that I do that's really, really good for me is mindful meditation in the shower. So what I do is, most of the time when we get in the shower, we just rushing through it. Get it done. We're running out, going to start our day. And that's another reason why quarantine was so good for me, because now I have time to spend as much time I want in the shower. But even when I do have to rush out, I'll take this time to do my mindful meditation in the shower. So what my process is with my mindful meditation in the shower is I have lavender, and I use the scrub gloves. I don't know, some people use scrub gloves, some people don't. I like to use scrub gloves because I like to remove all dead skin and all craziness. Like, I want to be clean. So what I do is I put the lavender oil in my scrub gloves along with my shower gel, and I just let the aroma of the lavender just fill up the room, just fill up the bathroom. And I just take my time, and I'm very present while I take my shower, and I let the water run on over me, and I just let the aromas just really relax me. And sometimes I'll say things like, whatever weight and whatever stress is on me, let it run down the drain, and let this water just, refreshing my body. Whatever, set an intention. Whatever's going on with you, that's what I do. But I mean, like, just setting an intention and being present is a meditative state. And sometimes it doesn't have to be laid out on a mat or feet bent in a yoga position. Sometimes it's just being present, whether you just staring at the water faucet and watching the water come down. It's just a little bit of time that the universe can sneak in there and throw a blessing in, because that's all it is. The universe just needs a few moments of you to just be still so that it can get in there and do its work. Because a lot of times we're in our way. We're in our own way with our blessings. We're blocking our blessings because we're so all over the place, and our mind is just racing, and we're not focused on, just being at peace. We're thinking about everything. We're never present. We're in the past or we're in the future. We're never in the present. So get in the present. Start your mindful meditation, or start your mindful day. Wake up with a routine. Choose happiness. change the way you look at things, and then the things that you look at change. These are the nuggets that you can take with you. And I'm going to expand a little bit more on this happiness journey. I'm going to talk to a couple of friends about their journey with happiness, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and be mindful. Love you guys.